So today we're going over the top 5 best ways to get legendaries in Diablo 4. Now there is one method on this list that is pre-level 50, after which you really don't care about farming for specific legendaries until you start reaching, potentially the mid-game point where you might want to get a little bit stronger and kind of do these methods as well as gather XP. So without further ado, let's dive into some of these methods. So unfortunately, they've actually nerfed the Khor Dragon stronghold here, so you cannot just loot the corpses around the ground. So what do we do before 50? Well, the best way to get some higher quality legendary items and prep you for your campaign journey and potentially your level 50 is actually go to the areas on the left hand side of the map, Dry Steppes and Kehjistan, or even going down to Hawazar, because these areas are going to be a little bit higher level than your current level, which typically allows you to go ahead and farm higher tier items, specifically these strongholds. If you can do the strongholds, which by the way will be tough because again you'll be under leveled, but that is going to be the best way to get those legendaries if you are looking for higher quality legendaries early on. However, I would definitely recommend that you don't do this because it's just better off to level up, go through the campaign, and then get to that world tier 3 as soon as possible, because you do get far more legendaries in world tier 3 and world tier 4, as I've experienced, than in world tier 1 or 2. Now, for the majority of these methods, except for the last one, do require you to unlock world tier 3 or to be on world tier 4, because these modes don't even unlock until you've gone ahead and actually unlock world tier 3. And the first one is Helltide Zones. Now this one is one that I would say is probably the worst on this list outside of farming legendaries before 50, and that is because oftentimes it takes too long to pick up the Aberrant Cinders for you to unlock a chest. And as you can see, I was trying to showcase the chest here, but I ended up disconnecting and dying right there. But what you'll see is after we kill a couple of enemies, we're gonna get the Aberrant Cinders, and you can go ahead and use them on the chests. Now, the only exception to why this method is kind of mediocre, one, it takes too long to actually get these Aberrant Cinders compared to just doing the other things on this list, but you can actually target farm certain slots. So for example, if I wanted boots, I can go around to each chest and find the boots and then target farm a specific slotted legendary. So although this isn't going to give you as many legendaries in terms of quantity, it is going to give you potentially a specific aspect that you might be looking for, or to upgrade a specific slot that is lacking a lot. The next method is the Tree of Whispers, and this is particularly good because you actually unlock this after finishing campaign. Now, I finished campaign at level 31, but the monsters are level 45, so most people are going to be finishing campaign around level 40 because it's going to be a little bit too tough. And so in that case, well, go ahead and finish campaign, get to this method, and it'll be far better than just farming those strongholds early on, in my opinion. Now, specifically with the Tree of Whispers, we're trying to get 10 Grim Favors and come back to the tree so we can get a cache, hopefully a legendary cache, which does drop pretty frequently. So which ones do we farm? Well, the one that I would recommend are going to be these big groups of open world events, okay? We have a corpse here, we have an event here, a corpse here, and then we have the harvest modes. So if you do all these, you're gonna get 6, right? And if you go ahead and find another group, well, we have one over here, which is the ritual. Then we have a harvest, and then a cull, so it's just kill enemies. And if we do all those, we're gonna get, well, 7. So these are gonna be the best ways to pick up Grim Favors. Dungeons are good, actually, in my opinion, better for overall account value because you're gonna get more XP and it's gonna be more consistent. But the open world events are gonna be better legendaries typically because you can actually return to the Tree of Whispers quicker. And of course, oftentimes the events drop a chest of their own, which makes it a little bit better for legendaries specifically. And of course, the higher world tiers you go, the better this method becomes. The next method is going to be Nightmare Dungeons, and this is sort of the end game grind of the game, which is why it's going to be one of the best ways. And mainly because the Nightmare Sigils actually increase the levels as you go up in the tiers of your monsters that you're fighting, which means that you could typically roll higher quality legendaries and also quite a bit of them if you're able to kill them quickly. Now, it's important to note that if you're going to push Nightmare Sigils, if you're going to try to go 30, 40, 50 levels above and you're not strong enough, and you might die, or maybe it takes you a long time, then this method will be less and less good. But if you're able to efficiently farm nightmare dungeons, similar to able to farm, let's say, the Tree of Whispers dungeons, or, just as if it was sort of your normal open world content, or if you're, again, just doing them at a relatively quick pace, you're going to get more loot. As always, Diablo typically favors speed over quality, meaning the higher tier ones aren't going to give you as much reward as just running a ton of lower tier ones for those legendaries. But going to the higher tier ones is going to have the potential chance to drop you higher quality item power legendaries. Now, the absolute best method is going to be the world bosses, but they are not consistent, so you just have to do them whenever they show up, and particularly every week, because you can get a weekly cash from them. Now, if you have a strong build like the one you can see behind me, you can see my poison damage. Darth isn't actually offering any poison damage, so it's basically all my damage right now, because the rogue is extremely good at taking down bosses here. Level 70, world tier 4, absolutely nuking the bosses. So we're only going to get stronger from here. And if you're able to do this, then this turns the fight into like a minute 20 seconds, which is what I did here. And it will absolutely annihilate the boss and give you a ton of legendaries. In this one in particular, as you go higher world tiers, you can get the higher quality ones, and you'll drop multiple legendaries and get that cash for even more legendaries. I believe on this one, I got 2 or 3 legendaries, and it's very typical to get 2 legendaries minimum on a boss, and potentially more with the cash. So let's see here. And 3 legendaries, so super amazing method. So this is going to be the top 5 ways to get legendaries in Diablo 4. If you are looking to progress quicker, I'd actually recommend farming legendaries while also grinding out XP, so typically focus to dungeons, but world bosses are a definitely nice detour for very, very quick, very, very easy legendaries, assuming you have a strong build and you're ready to go for it. So hopefully that helps. If it did, like the video, guys, sub to the channel, and I'll see you all for another video.